Hi there, I am Shar. Welcome to the Personal Readings playlist. Today, this is a reading for client number 1, and you have requested the Egyptian Tarot. Let's do a Celtic cross layout. I have another tarot deck I can cross-reference with and see what the cards have to say about what we talked about. Hopefully it'll give you some answers. All right, here we go. Okay, now I talked about some numerology stuff and how I wanted some numbers from you. So the reason being is to come up with, there's a life lesson number, there's a soul number, a personality number, and a path of destiny number. And that is just kind of fun to throw into the mix. And this is something I enjoy doing. So it is a pleasure to do this for you. So your life lesson number is an 8. And that represents the lessons you must learn in this lifetime and is most significant in your choice of a career. So just a quick overview at life lesson number 8. This is the book I'm using, which is absolutely fantastic. It's not a big secret, just the messenger. The number of power and ambition. It is the number of the executive, the boss who lives by brain and brawn. You will learn to work and will want to see everyone else working. You can push people to become successful in their own right, which you are very encouraging. You should lead and show by example how to profit in business. You're here to learn to handle power, authority, and money, and you can build a business empire and should work to that end. You want success for your family and for the family name as a matter of pride. You want your offspring to carry on your name with honor and dignity. It says sports is another field open to you, as this number vibration bestows great strength and endurance. And many famous athletes operate under number 8. So this, the things that I'm just kind of regurgitating here are not set in stone. It's just to give a little bit of insight as to like different life path numbers, and that is based on your birthday. Your soul number is a 5. Claim the right to freedom and will not allow any limitations of your ideas or ways of thinking. Variety of self-expression is absolutely essential, and you would feel dull and listless without the stimulation of changes and new outlooks. Travel is one of your soul's desires, since you believe it to be educational and broadening, and narrowness cannot be tolerated. If you feel yourself falling into a rut, a trip, a new outfit, or a vacation could change the vibrations for better and open new avenues for continued inner growth. Look into another section for what your soul number is. Kind of like what drives your soul. Kind of like the real you. Beneath the surface sort of thing. Okay, so the outer personality number is kind of like how people see you, your outer personality, what you show to the world. You are a 55, which breaks down to 10, which breaks down to 1, and you represent it and you represent an independent, capable, and executive type image to the world, which you do. Others see you as a unique individual, separate from the ordinary crowd, and perhaps a loner in some respects, but definitely different. They expect you to be able to take control of any situation and be able to run an organization or club efficiently. They will look to you to get the job done because you appear to be the leader, the pioneer, and the idea person who always knows where to go and what to do. The creation of correct image is foremost in your mind, and you depend upon the force of your personality as your identification pass into society. Yeah, that kind of suits you a little bit, hey? And then there's something called a destiny number. Your path of destiny is just done by adding up previous numbers that are crunched. And your destiny number kind of is like insight onto your lifetime. The sort of things that should be happening or are going to happen. It's not so much as this is set in stone. It's just kind of an insight to it. Your destiny number is a 78/6. No. One and 5 is 6. Yeah. 78/6. Whoa. Just a little bit of math there. And this is a domestic vibration. You love home and family life. You are the marrying type, and your family is your main interest. You are morally good and respectable, trustworthy and generous. You like the comforts and luxuries of life. You're a good mixer, a good host or hostess. You greet and mingle with everyone present at any social gathering. You are proud of your possessions and even enjoy showing off your family's talents and accomplishments. You should train your artistic talent so that you can share your aesthetic sense and appreciation of beauty with others. Many famous individuals in the arts worked under this vibration, expressing fully their deep and abiding love for others through work. And because I know you, I'm going to say that's kind of, accurate. And from what we've talked about. So there's just a little bit of insight into numbers. You can look that up more online. The Divine Triangle. Absolutely spectacular. Just a little bit of insight. It might not make sense now, but as time goes on, it may make more sense to you. Like I said, I'm just the messenger. So let's see what the cards have to say in this spread. Okay, here we are to carry on with our reading of the Ancient Egyptian Tarot deck. This is for entertainment purposes only. Nothing set in stone. Just the messenger of what the cards have to say. Thank you to the lovely author and illustrator of this deck. And here we are going to do the Celtic cross. And we have the Eight of Cups where we start off in the 0 position. So that's representing you. So the Eight of Cups is representing the subject here. And as the book suggestion, the interpretation of this card is laziness has led to a feeling of stagnation. There's a desire to escape the dullness of the present situation, but this is accompanied by an inability to act. Boredom with circumstances, a lack of stimulus, a longing for change is suffocated by feelings of apathy. Paralysis in the face of need for positive action, an atmosphere of lethargy and lifelessness. Idleness and daydreaming. So there we go. It's about where we're at, hey? So let's carry on and see what this is gonna do. So now the first 2 cards. Card number 1 represents a situation. And now it says in the book that just to shuffle the deck and to cut it and then to start laying the cards out. But I read a little bit differently than that. So here we go. We've got the Princess of Cups in the present situation spot. Okay, so that's card number 1. And then what also fell out of there was the Ace of Wands. Look at all that fire and water. So let's have a look at the Princess of Cups. I'm just following the book's spread guidelines because the best way to do it. So number 1 represents a present situation, the circumstances of the questioner at the time of reading, and it may indicate a state of mind or the physical situation relating to the subject. The princess is highly imaginative and artistic, and she spends a great deal of time in reflection and contemplation. I think right now this is pertaining to a situation that has come up that we are talking about here today. So this is just reassuring the fact that the subject at hand is what we should be talking about. She combines her imagination with a strong sense of practicality. And this card indicates someone romantic at heart, but who is too realistically to be held back by nostalgic idealism. A born visionary. And now see, what came out of that also was the Ace of Wands. And there's just a fire and water there. That is a conflicting element. See that fire? See... So here we are in the immediate influences. So things that are close at hand are holding back. So natural force, energy, and vigor, male and phallic, good health, the power necessary to achieve one's aims. Creativity and originality are the traits of this card, and it signifies the conception of ideas and actions and has the potential to see through them. Or see them through, sorry. At the beginning of a new enterprise or a fresh start. Births, a time of joy, money, fortune, and inheritance well aspected. So while that not be... there's other forms of riches as well. But the male phallic action going on around here. We're just going to flip this one over so that we can get a nice clear vision of this. So definitely sparks going on. Definitely some fire. Phallic. It's definitely sexual in nature. There's definite fire there pertaining to this. Okay, so now, what do we do about that? Alright, let's find this third position here. So, a third position is representing near future plans and intentions. My brain is just going on this right now too. Okay, so the Chariot. Chariot is movement. Like, oh, there's movement there. So as far as plans and intentions, something's moving, something's willing to move, and something's willing to be moved. Major Arcana quite often interprets into something spiritual. That's an awesome card, though. Just pause that and take that in for a minute. So Chariot's number 7 also in the Major Arcana. There's a lot going on in this card. The interpretation is the card points towards the result of action, but provides little indication of the form that action should take. And sometimes inaction also is action as well. But no, it's definitely movement. The Chariot is definitely a movement card. The action suggested may be positive and deliberate, conceived with a specific aim, but as the Chariot is ruled by the moon, the will of the subconscious cannot be excluded. Progress, success made through endeavor, taking a firm control of one's circumstances to change that which one finds undesirable. It's about self-confidence and good health. A practical but perhaps not imaginative solution to problems. There is suggestion of moving to another location. So yeah, the Chariot's all about movement, movement, movement. However, in this situation, something's got to give. So I think this is an indicator that something's got to give. And the situation that you're in right now, you know, is not good for you. And so finding movement in stillness or in quicksand or anything like that feeling is imperative right now. So this is what needs to happen next. Okay, let's see what number 4 has to say. So number 4 talks about distant past and foundations. It could also open an insight into blockages. So sometimes those subconscious things in our past leads us to repeated behaviors or situations that we feel just keep happening and don't have control of. Sometimes things that we go through are for learning experiences. Oh, shit. Well, would you look at that? The Wheel of Fortune fell out right there. Okay, so the Wheel of Fortune fell out right there. And also right behind it was the Devil card. And also right behind it is the Queen of Wands. So let's have a little looky-loo at what we're talking about with foundations here. So the Wheel of Fortune's an interesting card. Nothing's permanent with this. So there's something's going to change. Things can change. This is a card of hope in this situation. We're talking foundations and past habits here, right? Things in the past, whether it be good or bad, coming up, and clearly with the Devil falling in behind the Wheel of Fortune, there's past patterns and past behaviors. There's a blockage there that you're not taking the lesson from. And so the situation keeps coming up where you're put in this kind of situation. And whether this experience right now that you're in is because you are learning this lesson and this is what you need to have your shakabuku moment, to have your breakthrough moment, to find that devil that's inside of you that makes you keep doing this, that makes you build those walls, that shuts off the heart, okay? There's something there in the past from an out Queen of Wands, okay? So once you figure out the devil and that movement, that lesson, and it happens to all of us. We have these repeat patterns of behavior where we're like, WTF, why does this keep effing happening to me? I know better, and yet here I am in this very same situation. That's the devil. That's our lesson, right? So finding our worthiness, or finding the reason why we have that blockage, and finding the worthiness behind it. It's very interesting cards to come out together. So there's a little bit more work to be done on that past foundation that is just a speed bump. It's something that you haven't learned. You don't have that tool yet, but you're going to get the tool. So let's see what the cards have to, or let's see what the book has to say about this. So with the Wheel of Fortune, it does say of changes for the better. Okay? The Wheel of Fortune is number 10, which breaks down to a 1, which is also your outer personality number. Okay? This is why I do numbers also, so that we can find little coincidences, so that things that you really need to pay attention to are going to stick out today. Good fortune and prosperity are indicated, and perhaps starting a new cycle of events. Overall, the unfolding future looks good. There are, however, fluctuations of good fortune. As always, good days, bad days. Money comes, money goes. It's a roller coaster. It needs to flow, right? So we need to be prepared for the fall as well as the rise. That's why it kind of goes in a circle, right? You're climbing for it. You're balancing it. You go around in the circle. Okay, it's a hard one to juggle. There's a strong sense of continuity, and the circumstances of the present are built upon the foundation of the deeds of the past. Yeah, talking about foundations and distant past, this is kind of, So, an understanding of history may help make sense of the present. This is a card of evolution and transience. So definitely is saying, let's look into this and find out what's going on. So with the devil, number 15. Okay, are you ready for this one? 5 and 1 is 6. Which is also a destiny number. So until you learn this lesson, you're not going to move forward. Period. It's going to keep happening. So learn the lesson so you can move forward. Please. It's kind of what this card is saying. That's why we do the numbers, and what I mean, like if something may stand out a little bit more than others. Bound by one's physical desires, there is temptation towards evil. One who is a slave to materialism desires for worldly goods, status, or popular recognition. Selfishness. There is a need to suppress one's animal instincts and to control harmful tendencies. Quite often that means to the self as well. Conversely, there is a longing to escape from one's inhibitions. And so we follow it up with a why or a what. And the Queen of Wands is what jumped out. Is what's jumped out at the same time. So, Queen of Wands here, adaptable, kind, generous, and warm-hearted to her friends. Her intelligence and attractiveness make her popular, and her friendship is eagerly sought. She is caring and sympathetic to the problems of others, but she may be irritated by opposition. She has a calm, practical mind, and in business matters, she is usually successful. In the area of business, she is fully able to apply her feminine skills. So this tells me, which, I'm sorry, here we go, there's a woman in your past that has harmed you in a way that there are blockages. Okay? This is what's blockaging you. And when we talked about that time frame in the last little bit, maybe this is the lesson that you needed to break that outer exterior and let things heal and move along. These cards coming out in the foundation spot, this could also mean a woman of power in your life, like a mother or an aunt or a grandmother, where you've had a significant heart hurt, whether it be through hurt or grief that you need to heal in order to get over that, to move on to that. This is not set in stone. Like I've explained before, this is just insight as to what's going on. And the Wheel of Fortune is one of my favorite major arcana cards. Just because it leaves everything open. Fates and destinies are still out there, and we do have a daily influence over it. And we do right now, we're coming into a spiritual awakening in this time in 2019. We're getting ready for it. People are becoming more aware. And so a lot of work is being done to let go of those past issues so that we can go forward. And I know a lot of people have just gone through a huge, huge sacrificial shedding of previous baggage. So finding that here is a very interesting thing to see. Okay, so moving on to the fifth position, we've got recent past. So like prior to things that we were talking about, I think this part goes a little bit deeper, but let's have a little shuffle and see what it has to say. Okay, so the fifth position here is the recent past prior to consultation. Two of Wands just flipped out. It's fun how that happens. So here we go. I think the story behind this card is a little bit important here as well. So the ruler attends a celebration in the temple of Amun. The musicians play and the dancers perform their dance, but he has turned his back on their entertainments. He has no interest in those things. Amidst all the splendor of his domain, he thirsts for new experiences and challenges to occupy his time and his abundant energy. So the interpretation on this is riches, fortune, and magnificence, but also with problems that responsibility brings. A project is completed with high degree of success, but it leaves one feeling unfulfilled. Further progress is necessary for true happiness. Aggressive but public-spirited and pioneering. Influence over others. Drive and ambition to achieve. A lack of subtlety and consideration on the finer points of tact. A tendency to be overbearing. Limited patience leads towards impulsiveness, which combined with a temper that is difficult to control. dissatisfaction with the present, but looking ahead to better times. That is the Two of Wands. We've had quite a few wands coming up. Fire, 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 fire. And that's funny because you are a Chinese zodiac horse with fire. Fire, 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 fire. So, Two of Wands. Options, decisions, perspective. Acting or not acting. Okay, so there's a little side note in the book here. It says about the recent past. It says, however close the subject may consider this influence to be, it is now firmly in the past and the power is fading. So, like, to me, that's somebody that took a lot of fun out of your life, that was not supportive and wasn't fun. Looking for the bigger, better. So this is signifying the reduction of power that has over you. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. All right, the next card we're going to pull out is for goals, aims, and ideals. It's in the top position here. Woohoo, this is interesting. Okay, so we're shuffling for the 6th position up top. Goals, aims, ideals, which is determined by understanding the situation. So the High Priestess fell out up there, and we have a reverse card, or a face down card here as well. So this is what the High Priestess looks like. And as what it means by as determined by understanding the situation, I understand what we're talking about. And so with the mature lady coming up, it's maintaining an interesting perspective. But let's see what the book has to say about this one. On the back is the 3 of Discs. That's what fell down face down. So we'll just lay them down like this and explore what the book says. Okay, so this 6th position, goals, aims, and ideals. I just want to check the back of the book for a second here. These are determined by an understanding of the situation and so are open to change following the information provided by the consultation. So, like I said, none of this is just written in stone. It's just kind of like a message and my interpretation of it and other knowledges that I have put together here. So in this 6th position, we have the High Priestess. And as you saw underneath that, the 3 of Discs fell. So let's consult the book and see what it says about this. So the card suggests that insights into problems produces a solution. Hidden knowledge and a chance for the better. The favorable influence of a woman. Intuition and psychic experiences. Purity, imagination, dreams, perhaps sometimes even nightmares. Hypnosis and spiritual rather than mundane interests. The High Priestess is the bride before the wedding. Now, it doesn't exactly mean literally. It just could also mean the placing of the feeling of the moment. And so followed up with the 3 of Discs. Goals, aims, and ideals. The card suggests the craft of the mason. It is construction on the material plane, the mastery of practical skills, creating something for the future. Commercial enterprises are well aspected and will prove to be profitable. However, helping one's fellows will bring satisfaction over and above financial reward. Abilities are recognized and honored by others. Hard work, a rewarding experience, and the bringing together of people of various fields of expertise for a particular project. You, my friend, are that in a nutshell. So, to me, that says you just keep going. Just keep going. And like Pentacles is money, Discs is money, coins that will come. And like, you do work with your hands, don't you? Don't you build things? Here we go. 7th position. We're going to have a look at your effects on your environment. 7th position. It may be real or imagined. The card describes the limits of control over circumstances. So, plop goes the book. Let's bring the cards out. Have a little shuffle about. I must say I really appreciate you letting me do this reading for you. It's absolutely fantastic to be doing this. And yay for being first. Okay, so let's focus on your effect on the environment around you. 4 of Cups. Look at that beauty. As she's drinking, there's a full moon. What a beautiful, serene image. The other cups have tipped over, but she pays no mind to that. So this card suggests that although success has been achieved, it has not brought with it any of the feeling of satisfaction that one might have expected. In it, it is boredom in the presence of luxury, a feeling of apathy and the abandonment of desire. There are signs of a dissatisfaction with one's circumstances or surroundings. A deep felt need for change of some kind, combined with the availability of the power to make this change. Wishing that the future will bring relief from the boredom. So yeah, she's got those 3 empty cups there that have already been exhausted. On that last one, still looking for more. The full moon hangs low in the deep blue sky. Its pale light falls across the Nile onto a woman sitting alone on its rocky banks. She drinks from a red chalice, and there are 2 others beside her, while the 4th lies on its side amongst the rocks. Nearby there is a crab, the emblem of the sign of Cancer. The moon is ruling the planet of Cancer. So I can see where it's like there are signs of a dissatisfaction with circumstances or surroundings. So let's pull up number 8 and see what insight that has as we put it together there. The card also, it talks about being not receptive to offers, and also making a statement that not everything is for them. Okay, so we'll put that here in position 7. Let's look at position 8, environmental influences, and this is either people or events on the subject. Perhaps the attitudes or reactions of others to the present situation, and these influences may be helpful or not. It may be how the subject is perceived by the world, and this could be at odds with the image presented in the previous card. So yeah, like I said, let's just take another step. We'll shuffle the cards up and see what position 8 has in store. Environmental influences. People or events that have environmental influence over what's going on here. All right, let's cut these. So we have the Justice card. And like I say with the major arcana, usually on the spiritual side of things. So it's a card of truth and equality. It represents judging or the act of judgment, obviously. Legal matters or an encounter with the legal system. A time for arbitration and agreement, the achievement of harmony. There may be documents to inspect or sign, and external influences. It suggests the Eastern philosophy of karma, balance, and compensation. A clear mind capable of logical and rational thought. An idea of conscience is also indicated by this card. That which drives one to do what one instinctively knows is right. Let me say that again. That which drives one to do what one instinctively knows is right, and generates the guilt either of incorrect action or of omission. Looking back over one's life and seeing how one thing led on to another and how one has arrived in one's present circumstances, a state of imbalance needs to be redressed. Depending on circumstances of the questioner, this may be a card of warning or of reassurance. So, the environmental influences or people or events. Okay, so in regards with these two and how they tell the story together, where it says this could be at odds with the image presented in the previous card, which to me they are. So it's a conflict about making that change and doing it justice. Do you know what I mean? Like recognizing this behavior and finding a balance in between them is how I see this panning out. So now we're going to go into 9th position with attitudes, feelings, and emotions. So suggesting attitudes about the present or future here. And concerns and emotions regarding the matters covered by the spread. So let's have a look at this. I know sometimes it's clear as mud and it doesn't make sense until you see it all together and how things go. So, here we have the 3 of Cups. Just have a look at that. Attitudes, feelings, or emotions. Let's see if I can hold that up right. Happiness, perhaps a marriage or a birth. This is a time of shared joy and celebrations. A reunion of family or friends. Feelings of deep satisfaction and fulfillment. This is a card of physical enjoyment and sensuality. This in excess could easily lead to intoxication. Another aspect suggested by the association with the planet Mercury is the power to communicate and express one's ideas freely. Also indicated is the receipt of important or good news. Well, looks like a celebration is at hand there. So that to me just says that there's optimism there. You know it's going to be okay in the end. You know it's going to be okay in the end. These people sit relaxing by the side of an ornamental pool surrounded by a rich abundance of fruit. The man holds a pomegranate in his hand. The poolside is decorated with ankhs and triangles in blue. Against the starry skies at the outline of a pyramid and obelisk. Also, the picture says to me that there are options. Happiness will come and it'll be fine. So keep feeling optimistic about the outcome, even though you know that there's work to do here. Keep feeling optimistic about the outcome. All right, we're on to the last spot. Okay, so here we are looking at the 10th position, the final result. This card indicates the most likely future outcome when viewed from the present. So, like I said, this is for entertainment purposes only. And nothing is set in stone here, but it's just an insight as to what's going on in the moment. Take it for what you will, or leave it behind is your choice. But here we are focusing on the 10th position which is the outcome. What do we get from this reading? What do we need to look forward? What does it all mean? Ooh, what does it all mean? Four of Wands flipped out. A lot of Wands have fallen into this, a lot of Wands have fallen into this reading today. Wands and Cups, hey? Major Arcana. Okay, let's see what the book has to say. Four of Cups and the Four of Wands, hey? Okay, so here we are with the Four of Wands. Order, law, and government. Tact and gentleness are necessary to the success of one's work. Order, stability, and harmony, perhaps in a domestic context. Completion of work following a period of lengthy labor. Conclusions and establishing one's roots in a new place. A place of calmness and stability. The card combines the fiery forces of Aries, ruled by Mars, with the femininity of Venus. So passion and creativity may also be evident. Lots of Wands, lots of Wands. So it's a really good reading. Thank you so much for your great questions, allowing me to do a little insight there. Play with the tarot cards, the Egyptian tarot deck. So, like I said, there's lots of Wands and lots of major arcana going on here. And when we did have a pentacle come, it was flipped over. So I find that very interesting part of this. We also had a couple of fours come up so like doing an overall reading like that. Fours bring safety, security, and relief from problems. So it's nice to have that number stability in there. Wands are all about fire and intuition and inspiration, being optimistic. Also on the flip side of that is becoming extravagant and tied up in extravagancy. It's a fire symbol. You're a fire symbol. So there we go. Kind of clear as mud in some other places. Woo! And it was an absolute pleasure doing this reading for you. Thank you so much. Today's reading is with the Ancient Egyptian Tarot. Yeah, as far as reading details go, this is not available to the public, but by invite only at this moment. So thank you for watching. I thank you very much for your trust in this matter. And I hope this reading has helped give you just some insight. You know, nothing is set in stone. I love doing this. It's a lot of fun for me. Looking at the artwork on the cards and having a go with the deck and sharing what I know of this is really exciting for me. So I thank you very much. Bright blessings, and I hope your day is great. Cheers. Go forth. You've got this. Thank you.